Realme is back with a new flagship-killing phone, the Realme GT6. Could this be the budget flagship you're looking for? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out in our Realme GT6 review. The Realme GT6 marks the return of the GT series to global markets. The last few releases have been China only. It comes onto the scene with plenty of nice features, including a powerful chipset, a bright display with LTPO tech, a large battery, and a versatile camera setup. The back of the phone is made of plastic, and it curves at the edges into a flat plastic frame. The curved build means the phone feels rather thin in hand. What catches the eye though is the large rectangle housing the cameras. It's reflective, like a mirror. It is quite a smudge magnet, but it does bring some utility too. You could use it as sort of a viewfinder to take selfies with the rear cameras. And you do get official ingress protection on the Realme GT6 rated at IP65. The display of the Realme GT6 is a curved 6.78-inch LTPO OLED with a high resolution, a 120Hz refresh rate, and Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection. The high resolution means you get a pixel density of around 450 ppi, and content looks plenty sharp here. The display supports goodies like 10-bit color depth, HDR10+, and Dolby Vision 2. And it's quite bright as well. We measured a maximum of around 560 nits with the manual brightness slider, and this boosts up to nearly 1500 nits in auto mode when in bright sun. With a 120Hz refresh rate, movements like swiping and scrolling are quite smooth, and with the LTPO tech, the refresh rate can dial down as low as 1 Hz when idling to save energy. For audio, the Realme GT6 has a stereo speaker setup. The speakers earned a very good mark on a loudness test, and the audio quality is also very good, with decent bass, good vocals, and rich highs.
I'm wide awake, but you're a nightmare. I can't escape, I'm seeing you everywhere.
You can wake up and unlock the Realme GT6 using the under-display fingerprint reader. It's very fast and snappy. And you can get the phone with 256 or 512 gigs of UFS 4.0 storage on board. That's not expandable through microSD. The software experience here is basically the same as you get on any recent Realme, Oppo, or OnePlus phone. It's the latest Realme UI 5 on top of Android 14. If you want to find out more about Realme UI 5's specific features, you can check out our dedicated video. Because the phone has an IR blaster, you can use it to control other devices with. And Realme promises 3 years of major software updates and 4 years of security patches for the Realme GT6. The chipset of the Realme GT6 is Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. It's not as powerful as the top-tier Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, but it still provides flagship-grade performance. In benchmarks, the GT6 does a great job, producing numbers that are in line with other flagship killers running the same silicon. There's plenty of power here for heavy gaming and a smooth user experience. When it comes to thermal management, the phone was able to maintain high CPU performance throughout our prolonged stress test. But when it comes to graphics performance, it demonstrated significant throttling. The Realme GT6 has a large battery capacity at 5500 mAh, and the battery life is great here. The phone earned an active use score of 14 hours and 32 minutes, with solid scores across all of the tests. The Realme GT6 supports 120-watt charging. It may not be as crazy as the 240-watt charging we've seen from other Realme phones, but it's still up there. With the bundled adapter, the phone was able to charge from 0 to 66% in 15 minutes, and a full charge took 28 minutes. Now we have the cameras. The Realme GT6 has a 50-megapixel main cam, a 50-megapixel 2x telephoto cam, and an 8-megapixel ultrawide camera. The main cam uses a high-end Sony Litia sensor, and it's nice to have a dedicated telephoto cam rather than relying on a digital zoom. The main cam produces great photos during the day. The quality is consistent, with excellent sharpness and detail and low noise. Dynamic range is wide, and colors are vibrant without being over the top. The contrast is higher in some of the scenes, which lends a distinct look. In low light, the overall quality is solid. The photos are clean and sharp, with wide dynamic range. Highlights are excellent, and there's plenty of detail in the shadows. The colors look good and natural too. 4K videos taken with the main cam have excellent sharpness and lots of fine detail. Contrast is good, colors look natural, and the dynamic range is wide. The electronic stabilization does an adequate job to smooth out the footage while you're moving too. At night, 4K videos from the main cam are good, sharp and detailed with low noise. The colors and contrast could be better though. Now the telephoto cam. Its 2x zoomed photos are clean, with good clarity. The colors and exposure are in line with the main camera, and there's plenty of detail and wide dynamic range. There is a 4x zoom toggle in the viewfinder, and images are slightly fuzzier, but still rather clean. In low light, the telephoto cam's 2x photos have a lot of sharpening, but the dynamic range is great, noise is low, and colors are punchy. 4K videos from the zoom camera have balanced highlights and shadows, and good detail and sharpness. The ultrawide cam produces decent stills, with enough detail and sharpness for this sort of camera, and wide dynamic range. The overall processing tries to match that of the other two cameras. At night, the ultrawide performs quite well. The definition isn't great despite the added sharpening, but the colors and dynamic range are quite decent. The ultrawide shoots video at a maximum of 1080p resolution. The detail isn't great, and the dynamic range is narrow. Selfies from the 32-megapixel front-facing camera aren't the best around. The sharpness is poor, and there's more to be desired when it comes to the colors and the dynamic range. So there you have it, the Realme GT 6. While it's not a top-tier flagship, it's a nice premium phone. From the bright LTPO OLED to the great battery life and speedy charging, the high-end chipset and good main camera, the GT 6 seems to cover all the bases. There are downsides, like the unimpressive quality from the selfie camera and the lack of wireless charging. But if those things don't bother you, the Realme GT 6 has a lot to offer, and it earns our recommendation. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're looking for alternatives, you can check out our reviews of the Xiaomi 13T Pro and the Honor 200 Pro. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.